Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about some of the lesser known features and patterns that can change how you trade in Thinkorswim. So I want to provide some detail on how there's some TOS features that can offer greater insight into like the seasonality scripts. It can even be for back testing or even the think back or on demand feature, which I'll talk about. And then also how this relates to implied volatility rank. So of course I'll show y'all what each of these features will do, and then I'll give step-by-step directions on it. And of course, this can be implemented to help build your trading plan around them. Now, I will say this is beneficial for both newcomers and experienced traders as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Y'all can see I have NVIDIA pulled up here on the chart. Now, I'm going to start by clicking here under the Tools tab, and you'll see it shows the Think Log, Videos, Shared Items, and the ThinkScript. So I'm going to start here under ThinkScript. And the first thing you'll notice is that here on the left side of the screen, there's a bunch of studies that I have. Now, the main and primary function of these studies is to be used as indicators. Now, it has taken me years to develop some of these. What some of these studies actually reveal is the bigger picture, because they're seasonality scripts that expose recurring calendar-based rhythms, and that could be for the month, it could be QOQ, earnings windows. So I specifically formulated some of these in order to make sure that I was catching all the seasonal trends. And I've also used this when backtesting using the on-demand feature, and I'll talk about that in a second. Because all this does is allow you to test the same ideas across many historical cycles, and you can replay intraday action and practice execution. So you'll also notice underneath studies you see strategies. Now this is super helpful for implied volatility rank and the IV percentile when you combine the two, because it can show you how rich or cheap the option premiums are relative to the recent past. And this is really just perfect for choosing to buy premiums or to sell them. So typically I'll connect the two, and I'll show y'all what I mean by that. Now here in this middle box, it shows you where you would actually format your code. You'll also see that there's an options tab and help on the ThinkScript. Now y'all, I know this may seem a bit advanced. However, once you kind of get comfortable with understanding how ThinkScripts work, it won't be as complex as it sounds. Now one thing I do want to mention about this is that together when you utilize these functions and features, it can help you convert your thoughts and analysis into real evidence. So instead of it feels like this stock will run up, you can actually prove it and time your entries, size the position as necessary, and then choose option expirations that fit the pattern. All right, so I'm going to jump right into it. Y'all can see here where it says All-Star Equity _ Bollinger Break. Now I've already formatted the code the way I need it to be, but if you were one to just get started, you would actually have to make the code first. Now with this, you can also hit the Options tab, and it can show you that you can use the autocomplete, the font settings, or reset to default for it. Now, I will make a future video discussing how you can go ahead and start formatting code, but I don't want to get too deep into that right now. But I just wanted to offer this information as just an introduction to it. You can also click on Help on ThinkScript, and this will allow you to go to the Learning Center, and they're going to give you all the details you would need to know about how you can formulate your own code for whatever strategy you're looking to attain. So you'll see here they have ThinkScript tutorials, they even show you the functions, you can look at the data types, and a few other options here at the bottom. They even go as far as to give you a Think manual, so you can use that as well with the glossary and the FAQs. That should help for anyone who's new to this. Now going back to it here under Tools, you'll see here on the right side of the screen, there's Save as a New Script. So for example, if I were to create a new script, all you would have to do is click on this button to save it as a template. And then you'll see underneath that, there's a ThinkScript editor and then the condition wizard. Now if I click on this, you'll see that it pops up the check if all the following conditions are met, and you can go ahead and click edit, and this is where you're allowed to go ahead and add additional data sets for the condition that it's set on. Now I really hope this is not too confusing for y'all. Just know I help traders learn how to do this all the time, so I'll leave a link for how you can get mentorship below. But if you watched my last video, then you already understand the parameters on how to set certain things. Now this isn't 100% the same way that you would go about it, but it offers the same similar function. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Cancel, and I'm going to go ahead and click back on ThinkScript Editor. Now here under Reference, you're going to see it says Reserved Words. So if I hit this drop down, you'll see that they have words such as above, ago, and bar below, profile, script, switch, all these good words that you can choose to use. All these words probably don't make sense right now, but these are words that you can use when you're designing the actual code for your script. Now you're probably asking, why is that even relevant? What does it matter? And it's all about the patterns that you can look for. And of course, this can be attributed to the consistency in which those patterns appear. So for example, when looking at seasonality, This can give you recurring windows of strengths, weaknesses, and then of course in common sectors like retail or e-com, consumer, or even energy and travel names, certain stocks will behave the same way every year. So if you already have a preset code on what to expect, you're better able to pull the historical daily data and know exactly how you can profit from the move. So those are the reserved words. I'm going to hit the tab back up, and now you'll see underneath that it says declarations. So I'm going to hit the drop down for this one, and you'll see here it shows hide on daily, hide on intraday, lower on volume, once per bar, real size, upper, weak volume dependency, and then zero base. Now y'all, I don't want this video to be too long, so again, I'll break this down in a future video on how you can use any of these declarations here. Alright, so now we'll take a look at what's underneath that, which is going to be functions. I'll hit the drop down for this. And you can see here there are sub-tabs to this. So it's showing us about the functions. You can use fundamentals and hit the drop down for that. And you can take a look at the close, the high low 2, the high low close 3, implied volatility, so on and so forth. Y'all see all these different options here. And even the VWAP, which I think is actually a hidden gem. Now scrolling back up, underneath fundamentals, you'll see option related. So I'll hit the drop down for this. Now we see the option Greeks here mentioned, along with a few other things, such as get next expiration option. You can also choose get next in the money option. It goes as far as to show us the option price, and then the last few of the option Greeks. Going back up to it, we can see underneath option related, it shows us tech analysis. So I'll hit the drop down for this. Now we can see the accumulated distribution, average, body height, EMAs, so on and so forth. I think y'all pretty much see what I'm talking about as far as understanding how this works. You can even go so far as looking for dojis, lowest all, median, money flow, the moving average, true range, even the wilders. Now underneath that, we see it says math and trig. This is going to be a little more advanced because the numbers do offer you a way to configure. So I won't go over all of these options because this is pretty math heavy. But underneath that, you'll also see where it says statistical. It also shows date and time, corporate actions, portfolio, look and feel, profiles, stock fundamentals, and others. Now, again, I know y'all, that's a lot of information at once, and obviously I won't have time to go over all these different options here in this video, but at least you now know that this reference tab is here. Now, with this information, you can validate any pattern, but I would always recommend testing this to see if it has worked over the last 4 to 5 years, and that can be done by simply clicking this on-demand feature here for a backtest. Now, when formulating your ThinkScript, you can also choose to click on Inspector. Now you'll see the number pad pop up with the operations, and then underneath it, you'll see that it's defaulted for the study to be at Bollinger Bands. But you can hit this drop down right here, and you'll have your choice of any other indicator that you feel is necessary to use. So when developing your trading plan, it really just starts with historical tilt plus real-time confirmation. And this is of course with price and volume. Now, when you're looking at on-demand replays, for example, if you're looking at intraday action, you can train your execution and see slippage in real time as well. Now, implied volatility plays a huge role in this because within that intraday action, it can move at variable speeds. So if you wanted to get additional practice before you started to actually implement these scripts, you can track your results and then make alterations as you look at your R&R. Because a really good thing about formulating a script in Thinkorswim is that you can always go back and reformat the code. So this gives you multiple iterations of it. And another thing you can also do is apply like the time filter. And this can definitely validate different market regimens, y'all. It helps a lot. So if it's like a bull or bear market, you get to see how your plan pretty much holds up in all market conditions. Now, why it's super important to make sure you're testing this is that it really does matter because a strategy that looks great on a single year can fail across multiple years. And backtesting exposes the sensitivity while building your execution so your stats can hold up when the market is live. Okay, so now the next thing I want to go ahead and discuss is here under the Scan tab. Now, not to say this tab is often overlooked because I think people do use it pretty often, but if you're not one to be well versed in trading, it may be one that you don't tend to click on too often. Now, underneath this tab, you will see that there is the Stock Hacker, Option Hacker, Spread Hacker, the Spread Book, and the ISE Spread Book. Now, with this in mind, you can also look at the setup for the scan. It can be the top 10 sizzling stocks if you'd like. You can also choose the scan mode for all stocks, hit the drop down and choose a category. It could be personal if you decide for the indices. It can even be associated with any watch list that you've developed. It may also be really helpful if you were to look at the top 10 or by industry, because within using this, you'll see all 11 sectors. Now, you may be still wondering why would you use this specific tab and what's the functionality of it? Okay, so getting to that, you're going to see right here where it shows stock. You'll see this drop down here is defaulted to low, but if I go ahead and click on it, there's tons of options that you have. So starting here at the top, you can choose the asking price, the size, you can look at the volume, you can look at beta, bid, all of this good stuff is here. The mark, the PE on the stock, you can look at the shares, you can look at the PC ratio, the yield, and even the percentage change. Now let's say I wanted to go ahead and take a look at the beta. I can now go ahead and take a look at the minimum box here and set it for what I would want the beta to be as I scan for stocks. So let's say, for example, I want to make sure that the beta is at least 1. I would just go ahead and type that in, and you can also choose to have it at a max as well. So let's say I only wanted my max beta to be at a 1.5, for example. I can go ahead and type that in as well. Now you can hit this X and it'll take the other options away that are underneath it. But if you wanted to scan for multiple stocks at a time, you can go ahead and select the drop down for what you want for the second parameter of the scan, choose your minimum, choose your maximum as well, and then you'll be able to hit scan. But for this example, I'll just keep it very simple and I'll hit the X for that one. Now just keep in mind, they're already telling us that there's 2,848 matches for this. Now you can choose to adjust it as well, where you see here it says stocks. You can choose options, stock and options. You can also have the results sorted by the symbol. It could be basic, basic price, stock fundamentals, custom quotes, studies, any of this would work. And then if you hit this drop down for ascending, you'll notice that you can change it to descending if that's your preference. Now from here, you just simply click on scan, give it a moment to wait for the results. And again, it's only going to pop up the top 10. And now you'll be able to see all of the results that have matched the parameters you selected. Now, of course, it is in alphabetical order and you can see that here. But you can get very descriptive and only look, for example, at the top stocks in the S&P. If you want to have your results only fit the top companies, that's totally fine as well. So those are the main things to discuss for that. So now if we go ahead and take a look at Option Hacker, this is where you can get full detail on the option side of it. Now you'll see here for the setup scan, I do have it defaulted to symbol. The intersect with and exclude, I have those set for none. Now with the options breakdown, you can choose any of the following that they have. For example, in the money, out the money, it could be any of the option Greeks, the percentage, volume, all of that works. I always make sure that I have implied volatility selected. And the reason being is because I always look for the skew differences in IV across strikes, because this can tell you who's buying on which side. Now you can add IV metrics to a chart or the option chain if you decide. And you can even combine it with what I did for the Thinkscript, and it'll help you build a study, and you can import that to look for IV rank and the percentile. And a quick tip on that is how to read it. So if there's high IV rank, the premiums are rich, and the selling of the contracts, whether that could be like credit spreads, covered calls, is usually favored. Now if there's low IV rank, premiums are cheap, so it makes buying contracts or directional calls or puts more attractive. Now with this, of course, you want to set your minimum, and you don't necessarily have to have a maximum for it, but I would definitely recommend at least setting the minimum, because you want to be able to evaluate skew extremes. So for large put to call IV differences, this can pretty much suggest heavy directional hedging or that the contract is at risk. Now one thing to definitely avoid is long premium buys near extreme skews. So try to steer clear of those types of contracts, because all in all, implied volatility just helps you stop from buying premiums at IV peaks. Because in those situations, you may be losing to compression. It can also prevent you from selling into cheap IV, and that's just basically meaning you're collecting too little profit. So the trade may not even be worth the investment. Now the next thing I want to discuss is actually here on the chart. It's pretty basic as far as understanding, but I just want to discuss as far as time frames. Now of course I've showed y'all before that you can customize this list by simply just clicking on it and then choosing the time frame that you feel is best for what you trade off of. Once you've done that, just click on OK. Now, in order to define your edge within this, you want to choose tickers that show a calendar pattern, or at least seasonal flow that you can use when you're scanning the market and when you're developing your Thinkscripts. Because this is basically like applying liquidity filters. So you can set the minimum daily volume if you need to, the minimum options volume, and open interest. Because the rules essentially require you have a seasonal window confirmation, plus price action, and then of course a support with a retest or a breakout. It could be the volume above or below the average based upon the direction you're anticipating. So when you require any type of implied volatility conditions, you'll see the differences in buying the premiums versus selling the premiums based upon the rank. But be sure to backtest it, because you can have it set for that order type, the time of day, and then also factoring in the acceptable slippage that you'll tolerate. And what this allows you to do is to test the sensitivity of the slippage, and as the IV changes, you can use the Analyze tab to decide if that's what you really want as far as your trade. Because from there, you can just essentially set a hard stop. Your take profit target can be set as well, and then you can have a time-based window for it. Now, my warning on this is that be sure to be very cautious, because if the IV collapses prematurely, the trade can quickly go against you. So you may have to like take partial profit or hedge in some cases. So the main pro tip is to have multiple ways of viewing this. Look for seasonality here on the charts. Make sure liquidity is present with open interest and volume. And then choose only strike prices with tight spreads and adequate open interest. And then you also want to make sure that matches the DTE for what you're choosing, because this will just help for the structural part of your trades. And then as that ties in with making realistic fills, when IV is high, you can reduce your position size because premiums are larger and moves can reverse sharply, but y'all pretty much already know that. Now, if you're a new trader, what you stand to gain from this is the elimination of having to guess. Because with these types of metrics, it completely removes the whole I feel like. So have y'all ever been in a situation where y'all been trading and you think to yourself, I feel like the stock is going to move this direction or that direction? I'm here to tell y'all, you want to take that out immediately. You got to take your feelings out of it, which is much easier said than done. But it's important to do your best to eliminate it as much as possible, because nobody wants to take unfavorable risks on their real money. Now, with all that being said, it is also a safer learning curve, especially for those who are just beginning, because you're focusing on measurable patterns and execution. So it's basically like rehearsing it, because this is going to reduce the emotional mistakes and account for any anticipated drawdowns. Now, when you do decide to use the on-demand feature, if you're one to trade early morning, look for the reversals in certain sectors, because liquidity can have your preference set for quick scalps when your execution is focused on orders to capture moves. And this can be applied to multi-day, multi-months, multi-year factors. So whether you're day trading, swing trading, or doing leaps, just make sure you manage your position very carefully. Because remember, anytime you're analyzing the charts, there's likely to be overnight gaps if you're looking at pre-market or post-market. And if you don't account for that, you may be exposing yourself to some of the pitfalls. Now, the last thing I do want to discuss in this video is just simply going over the practicality of it all. One, I would never recommend trusting a pattern from a single year or a single occurrence. You want to validate it across multiple cycles. Now, because of anything that can happen within the economy affects the stock market, you want to rerun your back tests across multiple time frames. And y'all, I cannot stress it enough. Make sure you're verifying all of this with open interest and volume, because trading illiquid expirations is just a waste of time. So confirm each and every one of them per strike price. Because all this forces you to do is get better at trading, because you're looking at the price structure. And you can prove the pattern first. Because there's very rarely ever been moments for me where the frequency or like the magnitude of the trade is not something that's been heavily affected by volume. So all in all, just make sure you define your trading edge. And if you really just want to take it to the next level, of course, you can always automate this. That way you never abandon your plan in the heat of the moment, because the bracket structure will take over from there. And I talked about that in my last video, so I'll leave a link for that. But again, just to prevent this from being super long, I'll make separate videos over some of the stuff we talked about within the scripts. So yeah, y'all, for the most part, that's all I wanted to discuss. And that'll pretty much do it for this video. If you found any of this information to be helpful, y'all already know what to do. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. As always, I thank y'all so much for watching. And of course, I'll see y'all in my next one.